Good evening. The gentleman on the screen is Mr. Dennis Francis. Currently, he is the President of United Nations General Assembly. And right now, he is on a 5-day visit to India. During this visit, he made some important statements with respect to India and India's probable permanent membership in the Security Council. Before going into the details of this, let me tell you a few points regarding United Nations. Of course, you all know that one, but for the newcomers, let me say something here. When it comes to United Nations, it came into existence in 1945, and October 24th every year is celebrated as United Nations Day. Fine. And apart from this United Nations General Assembly, where all the member countries are the members, you also have another body called United Nations Security Council. In that Security Council, the strength is 15. Remember, the strength is 15. Out of this, 5 countries are permanent members. Remaining 10 countries are non-permanent members. Permanent members means they will be there as the members permanently. And these countries are America, UK, France, China and Russia. These are the 5 nations that are considered to be the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. And if you observe very closely, India is not a member here. But for quite a long period of time, India is fighting for a permanent membership in the Security Council. Clear? But for this reason, for this purpose, so you need to go through certain reforms in the United Nations. And of course, some of the nations, they are not in favor of reforms. They just want to continue the same structure. That is the reason why on the international platform, India time and again raises its voice with respect to its permanent membership in the Security Council. And of course, India has so many friends at the international level, and those nations are also giving support to India. But the problem is that, first of all, that should be accepted by all the 5 members. Clear? So, if any country says no, India cannot be a permanent member of the Security Council. But when it comes to the problem here, China is always avoiding India to be a permanent member. So that is the biggest issue. But otherwise, the entire world, or large number of countries in the world, they are in favor of India for the permanent membership in the Security Council. Now, apart from these 5 permanent members, you also have 10 non-permanent members. Non-permanent members are those members that are elected for a term of 2 years. That are elected for a term of 2 years. And if you look at India, how many times India became a non-permanent member of the Security Council? Please remember, 8 times. 8 times so far, India became a non-permanent member. Clear? And the 8th term, it started on January 1st, 2021 and ended on December 31st, 2022. So like this, this is the latest term. I repeat, January 1st, 2021 up to December 31st, 2022, India had been the non-permanent member for the 8th term in the Security Council. So now, if you look at the, the statements that are given by this gentleman, he is in support of India to be a permanent member in the Security Council. Because, he spoke about the geopolitical issues, because he spoke about the necessity of the reforms in the United Nations. So all these things have come into the picture. And he also praised India for supporting African Union to be a member of G20. Kindly remember, very recently we have concluded G20 summit in India. Very recently means in the year 2023, India hosted G20 summit for the first time, and during the time African Union was made a member in this one. Clear? Is a point number 1. And also remember, for the examination they may ask you, in the year 2023, where the G20 summit was held? Answer is India. So in 2023 India and immediately after that it has been handed over to Brazil, meaning in November 2024 G20 summit is going to be held in Brazil. Please remember this. So with respect to inclusion of African Union, the President of General Assembly praised India. So let's look at some points here. Before going ahead, kindly have a look at this. The theme of the 78th United Nations General Assembly is rebuilding trust and reigniting solidarity. Very, very, very important regarding United Nations, our General Assembly, our Security Council, our International Court of Criminal Justice. So regarding, all these things, you will be getting the questions. And sometimes regarding the themes also there are questions with respect to 78th UNGA. This is the theme. Please write down and please remember. Now let's go ahead to discuss more points on this. Now, if you look at this, the statement given by this gentleman is the existing composition of United Nations Security Council does not reflect the contemporary geopolitical reality of the world and it needs reforms. This is the statement that is given by this gentleman. So obviously this is a matter of real concern. How long only these 5 members will be the permanent members? Clear? And when it comes to countries like India, so we are developing like anything and we are influencing the world politics. So many countries today are looking towards India for the purpose of the support. In that case, there is a necessity for India to be a part of the, India to be a permanent member in the Security Council. Clear? Look at this. So what do you mean by geopolitics? For someone, if you are not aware, please note down. This is the study of the effects of the geography on politics and international relations. So that is the geopolitics, which is the part of your, civil services syllabus. Now, if you go further, let me tell you some points. The Security Council has progressively been unable to take decision in the recent years to strengthen global peace and security. So this is one of the biggest criticisms against the Security Council by this gentleman. So meaning that shows the failure of the Security Council in maintaining the global peace, security and harmony. And the President has underlined the need for the reforms in Security Council. Clear? Next, India has been pressing for the reforms in here, especially in the Security Council for long. Along with India, some other countries are also mentioning that they should be provided permanent membership in the Security Council. All that will happen only when the reforms will take place. Reforms will take place only when all the 5 permanent members accept for this. And if you look at this next, when it comes to India, India has been particularly upset over the lack of any meaningful moment forward in the intergovernmental negotiations on Security Council reforms. India is demanding for quite long period of time. Japan is demanding for quite long period of time. And when it comes to, South Africa, Brazil, these are all the countries are demanding for quite long period of time. But this is not moving forward. Along with India, other countries are also upset on this. Right? When it comes to India, this is a strong contender for a permanent membership in Security Council. And as I told you, you have 5 permanent and 10 non-permanent members in the Security Council. Right? Next, if you go further, the names of the, the 5 permanent members are given here, as I told you already. Right? And the Assembly President, meaning United Nations General Assembly President, also hailed India for its role in making African Union a full member of G20. Please remember, in the last summit that was held in India, African Union became a member in G20. It demonstrated India's long-standing commitment to assist and facilitate development in the global south. This is another statement given by this gentleman. And kindly remember, I have given note G20 summit of 2023 was hosted by India, and the chairman was the Prime Minister of India. And when it comes to 2024 summit, G20 summit is going to be held in Brazil. Please remember this one. As and when you are coming across with the international organizations in the newspaper, please read very carefully. From any institution at any time in any examination, you may get the question. And very soon I am going to announce current affairs batch, okay, exclusively the for the preliminary and main examination, where we'll be taking up different topics from different magazines and different newspapers, and those I will be discussing with you. And regarding that batch, I am going to give you an announcement very, very, very soon. Thank you so much, and take very good care of yourself.